where we put you on the map. This is Ron Costa broadcasting live from the Mappable USA studios in Las Vegas, Nevada. And folks, today we're going to talk about opportunity zones. We're going to bring you a project that's very unique. I think you'd really enjoy it. And before we do that, let's introduce Vicki Hutchmala from the QOZ Marketplace and the Opportunity Zones Authority. Vicki, how are you doing today?
I'm fabulous, Ron. Every time, every day, I'm always fabulous. We live in the best place, Las Vegas. The weather is perfect. And today we're going to talk to our guest, has an opportunity zone fund that in Lake Havasu. We're going to talk about something just incredibly unique, creative, and beautiful. And let's just get started.
All right, well then let's introduce Ryan Rodney. Ryan is the project developer over at Riverbound Custom Storage, and he's also the fund manager over at the Riverbound QOF. Ryan, how are you doing today?
Ron, I'm doing fantastic. Thank you so much for including me in your podcast. Very excited about this and very excited to work with you guys into the future, and pretty excited to show everybody what the Riverbound development is all about.
Yeah, it's a great project. It was great that you guys contacted us off the QOZ Marketplace, checked out the whole thing. It really looked great. And I was really happy to actually have met you in person when you came into Vegas. That was really nice. So, before we get started with the whole Riverbound, Ryan, can we get a little background on you for the audience and, how you got to be where you are right now?
Yeah, absolutely. I grew up out in Parker, Arizona, Lake Havasu City, filling up the family photo album as, just your average family man, just having a good time off-roading and, boating and all of the outdoor recreational type activities, and just really connected with the community and the culture of this particular demographic, and fell in love with it at a very young age. And from there, had an opportunity to start my own organization and apply what I thought would be a one-of-a-kind concept. So I put the people together, organized the offering documentation, and found a real unique piece of property located on Highway 95. It's about midway point between Interstate 40 and the city limits of Lake Havasu City. Worked real closely with the owners at that time, went to the Mojave County Board of Supervisors, had it fully rezoned from heavy industrial to a commercial zoning. And from there, we put our shovels in the ground and started improving it. And what I was bringing to the table was not only quite a bit of real estate development experience, but also a lot of experience in investor relations. I previously worked in private equity markets, analyzing risk and finding where the money is going and where it should be going, and making those delineations to help improve balance sheets and profit and loss statements. So I took that experience and kind of morphed it into what was, a dream of mine to do something in this location. Just having, the river and the outdoor recreational type use really close to my heart. It was really a natural fit. So it's been a lot of fun every step of the way in terms of developing this from just a patch of sand to what you see today, a state-of-the-art RV park and custom storage facility.
Amazing.
And it's so creative use of opportunity zone. Let me ask you, Ryan, did you know that this location was in an opportunity zone, or did you find that out after you started the project?
Yeah, that's a great question, Vicki. So we started the project in 2017. we broke ground and we started improving it. And then lo and behold, we found out that after the fact, it was designated to be in an opportunity zone per the Arizona Commerce Authority. So this was very exciting, but we knew that we had a lot of learning to do because it was a new piece of legislation, part of the Jobs Act and Tax Cuts of 2017 that was signed into legislation by President Donald Trump. There was a lot of benefits to it, and I realized right off of the bat that we had to make some changes to our offering documents. So the way that it played out is we engaged a tax attorney, Shepard Mullen. They've got multiple offices across the globe, I believe, and they were very instrumental in helping us design a flow chart, basically a corporate structure that would comply with the new opportunity zone rules and regulations. So shout out to Shepard Mullen. They are fantastic. They did a great job. They were very efficient, and they helped us become a qualified opportunity fund.
And initially, it was like the wild, wild west. Initially, nobody knew anything. There were no rules. There were no regulations. There was no history. There was just this great program and great opportunity. And so, score for you, Ryan, that you just happened to be in the right place at the right time when this all started. So that leads me to my next question, that you probably didn't start off with capital gains for the project. You started off with investor funds and then had to stack them into the qualified fund in order to use both investor and capital gains money together. So it was a real learning experience for you, but boy, you did an outstanding job.
Well, no, thank you. I appreciate that. We're still learning, and we're still keeping up with any changes that are passed down from the authorities. But as it stands right now, you're absolutely right. I think that myself and my team at Riverbound, we all did a great job making the appropriate changes to accommodate capital gain investment into our fund. It's helped accelerate development at Riverbound, which in turn has allowed us to generate more revenues for the investors in the fund. We're showing very nice returns, cash distributions on a quarterly basis to our accredited investors, and I think that they're pleased as punch right now. We've got a very interesting deadline on the horizon
Right.
for all of the listeners out there. There's a deadline approaching December 31st, 2021. Between now and that date, there's a window that's going to be closing. This would allow you to get a 10% step up in your capital gain when there's a reckoning date, December 31st, 2026. Instead of paying the full amount on your tax return, there's a 10% discount that is on the table. So for anybody that does have a capital gain right now that would like to save some money on paying the government, that might be something that you want to look into and consider.
Right. The first stage of the deferment of the capital gains tax, that's the December 31st deadline. But so how do you market to your investors, be they capital gains investors or general investors? Do you have a marketing plan?
We don't advertise or market real heavily. We've got a real solid investor group as it stands right now, and we're mainly just working with referrals, family members, and friends. We're trying to keep it, as tight knit as we can.
Right.
So we're not too heavy on, moving the masses and doing a whole lot of marketing from that standpoint. We let our performance with the fund kind of speak for itself and just organically, go out to the right people. This in particular with your organization, QOZ Marketplace, this is really the first type of advertising that we are actually doing. But we do want to make sure that everybody is aware of the opportunity, and we want to make sure that everybody has a chance to check out Riverbound Custom Storage and RV Park. So I think that this makes great sense.
It does, and you have an actual place that's operational. So when people drive by there, they see it, and I think that really helps in terms of your credibility. That's something that actually works already, and that's really, really, really big. But let me ask you, Ryan, when someone gets into the fund, the QOF Opportunities Zone Fund, are they investing in the real estate aspect of it, or the business aspect of it, or both?
Both. So by taking an equity interest in Riverbound Development QOF, you are subscribing to an ownership interest in the whole ball of wax, if you will. So we take a look and say, well, what is the whole ball of wax? Well, Riverbound owns 160 acres of fee simple land. It's owned outright with cash. So we now have a hard asset that we can use to hedge against inflation. And we have a scenario where COVID has actually played into our favor, and I empathize for the businesses out there that are on the other end of that spectrum. But this has actually helped out Riverbound and its investors a great deal because we take a look at RV sales. They're basically at all-time highs. Off-road toys, boats, all of these sales statistics are at all-time highs because people don't want to be locked in their homes. They want to get out and they want to go enjoy life. So if we look at the category of just outdoor recreation as a whole, it has taken off like a homesick angel since COVID. So we've seen an uptick in sales ourselves. So as an owner in the fund, you're sharing in that revenue stream at Riverbound Storage and RV Park. Just in the last 6 months alone, we've sold close to 25 of our man cave units at Riverbound, and we currently have about 15 or 16 that are in escrow that are not built. So we're now pre-selling. The demand is fairly strong. Yeah, the demand is fairly strong, and I think as we continue to bring more amenities to the park, it's only going to help facilitate more sales, and in turn will help generate more revenue for our shareholders.
Well, what makes Riverbound a better RV park than any other RV park? What's unique about what you provide to your users?
That's a great question, Vicki. Thank you for asking that. It truly is one of a kind from the standpoint of being multi-purpose use. When you pull up to just your average RV park in Lake Havasu or wherever, you're going to have, your RV hookups, your electrical, your water, and your sewer. You might have, a general store where you can get drinks and ice and that sort of thing. We've taken this to a whole new level to where it really is a hybrid type concept. If you go to the website, www.riverboundcustomstorage.com, you'll see what our buildings look like. And you'll look at it for a second and say, wow, that's unique, because you have an RV port where you can back in your fifth wheel or your camper, hook up, and enjoy all of the amenities of an RV park. and then let's say you're driving back to the Midwest or the Northwest or wherever home base might be for you, the convenience that this offers is luxury storage in addition to that RV park component. You've got a fully insulated 20 by 50 garage that you can keep your RV, your toys. You can store all of those items, so you don't need to be driving them several hundred miles back to where, home base might be. So this is working out to be kind of a second home away from home, if you will. And then on the other hand, it is working out to be a primary residence for some of the folks in the community. And that's exactly one of the stronger selling points for the facility is the community aspect. We've got great people at Riverbound Custom Storage and RV Park. We've got a bunch of amenities. We've got a golf driving range. We've got a basketball court, a pickleball court, a pool, a jacuzzi. We've got plans in phase 2 to bring in a deli, a fitness center, a laundromat. We currently have, we also have fuel tanks, propane services. So it really is a one-stop shop.
It's like a hotel in different parts,
Exactly.
separated depending on what you want.
Hey, Ryan, I want to go back to something that you said earlier in the podcast. When you first were able to get the land, you said you had to get it rezoned. And, obviously to do that, you have to work with the local municipalities and people like that. How was that process? How long did that take? Or was that easy to do?
Well, if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. The answer is no. It wasn't the easiest thing to do. There was, an application process. You needed to have supporting documentation. You needed to do your public hearings. You needed to run all of your plans by planning and zoning first. So you'd have to get that vote, and then it would go to the Board of Supervisors. So it was a process, that's for sure. There's a lot of time and money involved in it, and there's no guarantee that you're going to be successful. So there's definitely some risk involved as well. But we were fortunate. The Board of Supervisors at Mojave County, they saw our vision. They realized that this was a shovel-ready project. We were ready to hit the ground running. And they got on the same page with us, and they approved the rezone, and we were off to the races. So I learned a lot from that process as, a young developer, and a big shout out to the County of Mojave and the state of Arizona as well for really getting behind us and working with us to make sure that, this is a successful endeavor.
Yeah, it's the kind of stuff they don't teach you in business school, for sure. But the reason why I brought that up is because, if you listen to these podcasts, Vicki always says, work with the municipalities. It's always good to work with them and be on their radar. So that's just another example of why that's completely true. Isn't that right, Vicki?
That's exactly correct, Ron. We always say that all opportunity zones are competing with each other, and so the easier that it is to go through the process, like the zoning and the permitting and the constructing and that whole process where you're dealing with the city or the county, you have to work with them in order to streamline that. And there are some municipalities or counties that have realized that you will bring more people in to develop your opportunity zones if you streamline those processes and make it easier. In your case, however, you were at the very beginning, at the initial point of the program. You had to pretty much get baptized by fire before anybody realized how to make it easier. So that, I guess, has its good points and its bad points, but you survived it. That's wonderful. But it's very important working with the government.
Yeah, and Vicki, did you have another question for Ryan before?
That's what I was going to say, Ron. I was going to just say how important it is to work with your municipalities in streamlining the process to even get ready to start the program or the project.
Yeah. And then Ryan, you said you had a kind of like an investor base already in place, that you worked with these people before. Was it hard or easy to kind of talk these people or explain opportunity zones to the investors? Did they know about it at the time, or did you have to give them an education about the tax benefits and what it's all about?
Well, I'm not a certified accountant, so it was tough to provide accounting advice. But we did make very strong efforts to put the details in front of them and encourage them to do their own research. The problem is that it came on so fast and heavy. I'm talking about the opportunity zone benefits and all of the regulation and all of the details that you'd be talking to an investor, and then they would in turn call their CPA or their tax professional, and they didn't know anything about it. So there was about a 1 year window there where it needed to really bake itself into the marketplace. But I think we're finally there. I think it's gotten to a point where the Internal Revenue Service, they haven't made significant changes. I think they've finally got everything on a consistent path, if you will, and now everybody is under that same umbrella, and we're all singing from the same songbook. So it's going to be interesting to see where we take it from here. Up until this point, I mean, we really haven't raised that much. I think we've only raised about $7 million through the Riverbound Development Qualified Opportunity Fund. We can raise up to about $65 million. And again, that is investment money. That's investment capital that would be going directly into the Riverbound Development to help build out subsequent phases of the project. So I think it's a win-win if you are an investor that is working with some capital gains, especially right now. Take advantage of the 10% discount. I think that is going to prove itself to be extremely meaningful, especially with how everybody is speculating about how taxes could be potentially going up, in the near future. I think it brings even more value to just the deference and the savings alone. But if you really dive into the merit and the benefit of having your money in a hard asset that's income producing, that is in outdoor recreation, I think we have really all of the boxes checked. So you're looking at a two-prong approach. If you're an investor in Riverbound, you're getting the benefit of the Qualified Opportunity Fund, and you're also really getting some great performance, and you're getting a great layer of investment protection from the standpoint of having your money into a hard asset that's only
right.
with cash.
Yeah, that is a great point. And, before we close this out, I want to tell the audience listening, if they don't know where Lake Havasu City is or never heard of it before, this is a great place. It's a lot of fun. When I was younger, we used to go down, I'm from New York, we used to go down to Florida, to Fort Lauderdale for spring break and for all the fun kinds of stuff. People go to Lake Havasu for that kind of stuff. It's really a great town. It's a lot of fun. And, Ryan, we live in Las Vegas, and when Vegas people go to Lake Havasu for fun, you have a good city, right?
Oh, absolutely. I'd say anybody that's familiar with Lake Havasu City, they'll be the first to tell you that, this is the toy capital of our nation. I mean, from off-road toys to RVs to campers to water toys. I mean, it's something really special. So if you have not been there, you've got to stop in and check it out. The city itself is growing at leaps and bounds, and they've got so many homes and so many commercial buildings that are going up. I mean, it's just really a beautiful city that is, bursting at the seams. So it's been really incredible. It's been incredible to watch.
And for you to have a project like that there is really impressive too. Are there any restrictions to where, size-wise? Do you take all kinds of RVs? Is there height limits or anything like that?
No, not at Riverbound. Our units are customizable, and they've been built in a way to accommodate your Class A, your Class A rigs that have super slides. We really spared no expense in our buildings. They are truly state of the art. We've got a great team of engineers. We've got a great team of builders, and we've all been able to put our minds together, and that amounts to hundreds of years of experience combined that is really going into our product. So it really is one of a kind. You've got to check it out. It's something very special.
Yeah, definitely. I think there are opportunity zone investors out there that are interested in this project. They should be. It's really, really unique. And like I said, I really am impressed with what you guys are doing. How does somebody get a hold of you, Ryan? Is it website, email, or what's the best way?
Sure. Best way to get a hold of us is right there on your website. There's a representative that listeners can get in touch with. There's a telephone number. It's a toll-free 877-917-0142. And feel free to visit our website. Shoot us an email if you have any questions. We would like to spend a minute with you over the phone just to go over suitability and kind of check some of those suitability questionnaire boxes. And then what we can do is give you access to our investor relations portal, our private placement memorandum, along with subscription documents, and all of our details are available online electronically. Or if you'd like to receive a hard copy, we can get that out to you as well, so you can do your research and get comfortable with the idea of having your money in the Riverbound Development Qualified Opportunity Fund.
Yeah, and Vicki, I wish I was more like Bill Gates, because I'd go out and buy an RV today just to store it at Riverbound. That's would be a great thing.
Exactly.
Are you as impressed about this project as I am?
I am so impressed. People don't understand that opportunity zones are not just in cities. They're also in rural areas. And what Ryan has done with Riverbound is so incredibly creative, and it's a special use of the Opportunity Zone program because it incorporates all of its aspects. It developed the land. It created a business that it operates in the Opportunity Zone, which also is providing jobs to the people in the community. So it makes it the perfect match. And it's so beautiful on the website. The pictures on the website are really nice. It makes me, like you said, makes me want to jump in the car and go look at it, and then buy an RV so that I can play over there. It's fabulous. Ryan, you've done an excellent creative job with the Opportunity Zone program. Kudos to you.
No, thank you so much. I agree with you guys. I think that this is really a perfect example of how these Opportunity Zone locations can be taken advantage of. I think this is exactly why they were introduced, and Riverbound saw it right away, and we're taking full advantage of it. My goal is to have Riverbound and this development in particular just to be a nice example of what Opportunity Zones can do for an investor, and more importantly, what it can do for a community as far as creating jobs and just bringing value to that community.
Exactly, which is what the program is all about.
Yep. And off topic also, if you're listening to this podcast, go Google Lake Havasu City and London Bridge. There'll be a good story there. Right, Ryan?
The London Bridge in Havasu
very
City.
Interesting. Yep, very interesting story. Pretty amazing to think that McCulloch was capable of doing that long ago with the resources that he had. It is a very interesting story.
folks, good things happen in Lake Havasu City. That's all I could say. So, Ryan, thanks again for being a guest in the show and taking time out today for our audience. Really, really love this podcast, and like I said, love the project. Vicki, thanks for co-hosting. It was great. And folks, you're listening to the Mappable USA podcast at mappableusa.com. If you go to that website and you scroll down, you'll see all our syndication sources. Just pick the one you like best, subscribe. You'll never miss another one of our episodes. If you want to be a guest today like Ryan was, click the guest tab there, fill out the form. We'll see what we can do about getting you on the show. And if you like what you heard today, send us an email at info@mappableusa.com, or just leave a comment on whatever page you're listening to this on right now. So thanks for listening. Thanks for your support. We'll be at you next time with another Mappable USA podcast. Have a great week, everyone.